Hello. You might be wondering, Iggy, why are you wearing a turtleneck in the middle of June? Well, I live in the Pacific Northwest, so today just happened to be like your quintessential fall day. It's like 12 degrees and I was feeling chilly, so hence the turtleneck. But anyways, I am at the bookstore. I got in a bit early because I had to set up for an event. There's gonna be a book club type thing. I'm just literally gonna be in the background just reading my book. I have no idea what's going on. It's just like an independent book club, completely unrelated to the bookstore. They're just using our space, which is a really nice idea because this is literally the perfect place to talk books for an hour and a half. So I figured I would update you on an unwritten book because I am loving it. It has just really revamped my love for the seas, if that's even possible, because it adds so much more nuance and so much more clarity and understanding as to where Samantha Hunt was coming from and where she draws these characters and the things that she's preoccupied in exploring, such as longing, loss, death, mourning, alcoholism. It just makes so much more sense when you read from her perspective and the things that, like I said, interest her and occupy her brain space and things that she likes to philosophize about. It has just been a really informative, really earnest and beautiful reading experience. I adore this author. Like I said, I didn't know it was possible to love this woman more, but yeah, she just writes with such genuine curiosity and so vulnerable, and she's just delightful. It's one of those people that I would absolutely love to befriend and learn from and be in awe of in real life. I'm going to now pay attention and see if maybe she is in Vancouver for a talk or something, because wow, that would just be incredible. Yeah, I just finished the essay on One Direction and girlhood and that feeling of like coming into yourself and letting the hormones run free and feel that sense of ultimate effervescence and what that means, even if you are not in your like teenage years. I don't know, I just thought it was such a wonderful essay and just made me reflect on that time in my life and the people and things that were causing those reactions within me at that young age. And yeah, just her talking about motherhood and being a writer, and it's very referential. So I have also started a little side list of books or authors or just interesting people that she cites constantly that I also want to research and understand what she's, although there are many, actually most of the people that she references, I know who they are and I'm familiar with their work, but yeah, it's just been really great to learn even more from Samantha Hunt and to get excited about consuming the things and authors that she's really inspired by. So yeah, could not recommend this enough. It's also talking about, I mentioned it in my other video when I was reading the little blurb, but she includes the preface or the introduction of her father's unwritten book, and that has also been really interesting because on one side it's her father's work, but on the other are notes that are triggered by the text that Samantha is reading. So either questions that she has or observations and parallels that she's trying to draw from her dad's fiction to his real life. And that also poses another really interesting question, which is anything really fiction or is it nonfiction? And is the line constantly blurring, which she argues that it does, because it's kind of impossible to write something without imbuing it with your own experiences and things that are of interest to you and or things that have occurred in your own life. So you're pulling from that experience. And yeah, it's just kind of cool to see her doing that in real time, if you will, like while she's reading something that was fiction that her own father wrote. Yeah, I am just eating it up. Really, really loving it. She's so inventive and just so creative, and I love her curiosity for magic and ghosts and that kind of joy and yeah, curiosity for life that is so associated with your young years in life and youthful naivete, and she brings that to the forefront, and that's the way that she views her life in this world. And it's just such a beautiful way to exist and to conceive of the world around you, and just something important to keep in mind, at least for me, just to not lose that curiosity and that imagination that is so associated with your childhood years, and there's no reason to let go of that curiosity and yearning. So yeah, I am loving it. I am underlining a lot, and yeah, I just feel really lucky to experience Samantha Hunt once again, and also inspiring me to pick up more of her work, because I know that The Seas is not like her only body of work. I know that she's written fiction in the past. I just have not dabbled. But yeah, that's what I've been reading and really enjoying. I have not done as much reading as I wanted to. I went away again this past weekend for my mom's birthday, and honestly, I was just soaking up nature and just like zoning out, looking at the beautiful scenery, and then doing a lot of outdoor activities. And then when we got to our room, I literally just napped. It was like I was either kayaking for 4 hours or I was asleep. There was no in between. So I barely read other than in the ferry to get there, but
I'll give you something to believe in. I'll give you heaven if you need it. And if your heart can't receive it, it's a sign. Who can say what we know is true? And if we lose, do we really lose? Or is it lost that can lead you to find? It's never too late to set your soul straight. And if I feel the same, I'll give you something to believe in. I'll give you heaven.
Hello friends, we are outside, but just in another balcony with my mom's azalea? I don't know, her little bonsai situation here. Azalea. Anyway, I have returned from the island. I had the most magical time there. If you happen to come to Vancouver and you're coming for like a slightly extended period of time, I would highly recommend taking the ferry to Victoria, or even just if you have a car and you want to go the full 9 yards, you can take it to Nanaimo and just explore the island, because there are some true gems. Yeah, my high school bestie, it was her birthday, so I had a beautiful birthday celebration with her and her beautiful partner, and God, what was that? Anyway, and we had a lovely time. So I wanted to update you on what I read, as well as some recent acquisitions, and I really need to stop with the recent acquisitions. If you hear me say that one more time, somebody needs to call me out downstairs. Anyways, I finished the Unwritten Book by Samantha Hunt. I don't know what else or what more I can add to this other than just complete admiration for the author and for Samantha's really vulnerable perspective on death, the death of her father in particular. She speaks of this notion kind of repeatedly, and it's really just solidified in my brain, and I've actually had conversations with a couple people in terms of this reframing of the world as a place that we all come back to. And if we were to look at the soil in which we walk in and the place that we call home as like the sacred burial ground, how differently we would relate to the natural world and the things that we choose to do, i.e. like resource extraction and all of that wonderful stuff. So if we were to reshape and reframe the way that we think of Earth as this place that we honor the people that were here before us and our own ancestors, that the world would look a lot more differently and probably a lot better than how it looks now. So yes, just for that alone, that little token of wisdom, or something that really made me chew it thoroughly, and led me to have really fruitful conversations in my real life, was really lovely. So thank you, Samantha Hunt, for all of the wisdom. And now I also don't necessarily have the apprehension that I had previously in terms of reading some of her fiction. So I am going to go to the library, not buy it, but library some of her earlier works, apart from The Seas, which is the only other book of hers that I've read. So anyway, speaking of the library, I actually went to the main branch today, which was quite an adventure, very overwhelming. The central library looks like the Coliseum. I had a nice little peruse, although like I said, it was rather overwhelming, but in a good way. And I picked up Artful by Ali Smith because we're doing a little book club moment. So this is the inaugural pick, I suppose, and I have literally no idea what this book is about, but if we remember, I spoke about wanting to explore and have a newfound interest in Ali Smith's work, and this is my introduction. So I hope it's a good one. Artful. So let's read it together. A book that refuses to be tied down to either fiction or the essay form. We're off to a good start. Artful is narrated by a character who is haunted, literally, by a former lover. Ooh. The writer of a series of lectures about art and literature. A hypnotic dialogue unfolds. A duet between a meditation on art and storytelling, a book about love, grief, memory, and revitalization. Smith's heady powers as a fiction writer harmonize with her keen perceptions as a reader and critic to form a living thing that reminds us that life and art are never separate. Oof, this is gonna be fuego. That is all I needed to know. I don't want to read any more of the little blurb. I just want to dive on in. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. And then, okay, this is cheeky, very cheeky, but last time I was working at the bookstore, I saw this and I was like, oh my God, this is just way too tempting. I have to get it. It's Yuri Herrera's new collection of stories and it's called 10 Planets. I saw this and I was like, what? How have I not seen this? What rock have I been living under? Have people been talking about this and I'm just like completely out of the loop? Like, Oh my god. Anyway, so I don't even want to read the back, but anything by Yuri Herrera, it's going to be like an immediate buy. So, I mean, this was like impossible to say no to, you know? However, I will not touch this until I finish Artful and have some things to say and contribute to this book club. So anyway, that is all I have for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you have been reading, and let me know if you've read Artful. I wrote down your suggestion, so I do have a little Ali Smith TBR that I hope to get through, depending on how I feel about this. But from what I read, it sounds like something I would enjoy, so we shall see if that's gonna be the case. Anyway, I'm sending you lots of LOVE, and I'll see you soon. Bye!